Hello and welcome to Maritime Radar. Inland water transportation provides a cost-effective, logistically efficient, and environmentally friendly mode of transport. Developing this supplementary mode will enable diversification of traffic from the over-congested roads, railways, so that it can contribute immensely to economic and social development. Marine transport, either by inland waterways or over a shorter maritime distance, has the potential to greatly improve continental integration in Africa and transform the economies of African countries, especially landlocked and island states. But it needs the adequate support and an enabling governance framework. Repositioning Lagos water transportation sector towards a clean, inclusive, efficient for economic growth and regional evolution are some of the issues that will be on the front burner on today's show. I am Norma Obiaswala. Experts say there is a need to harmonize policies and establish robust regional frameworks that will ensure a safer and more efficient cross-border ferry operations. The need to also ensure adequate infrastructure becomes apt to meet the needs of the future, positioning ferry transport as a vital component of urban and regional mobility to alleviate congestion, enhance connectivity, and promote environmentally friendly transportation options. The role ferry transport plays in Africa's blue economy cannot be overemphasized, ensuring job creation, trade facilitation, and fostering sustainable coastal development. Before we get further into today's lineup on the program, let's find out the latest in maritime news.
Lagos, Nigeria's largest city and its leading economic and financial center, with an estimated population of 22 million, is expected to grow to 40 million by 2040. Inland waterways transportation is expected to play a bigger role in Lagos's urban mobility in the coming years. Over the last decades, road congestion has undermined productivity and economic growth and deteriorated air quality. Lagosians spend an average of 5 hours in traffic and 30 to 40% of their monthly household incomes on transportation. That is where the Omi Eko project comes in, representing a bold vision for Lagos, ensuring safe, sustainable, affordable, socially inclusive, and environmentally friendly water transportation. Supported by the Global Gateway Initiative, the project is financed through a collaboration of the French Development Agency, the European Union, the European Investment Bank, and the Lagos State Government. This is expected to move 25 million passengers per year on 15 ferry routes, reduce carbon emissions by 41,000 tons per year, and make Lagos an international benchmark for inland waterways transportation. It is also expected to contribute to climate change mitigation, adaptation, and improved air quality. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, spoke on this bold initiative and its role in redefining water transport in the state.
Omi Eko's project is a comprehensive, future-oriented blueprint for a sustainable mobility in Lagos. It merges technology, it pushes environmental stewardship, it creates a smart design for the waterways that is not just navigated, but is optimized. This is what cities around the world are doing to confront twin challenges of urban population growth and climate change. But Lagos is not waiting to catch up. Lagos is indeed setting the pace.
Special Advisor to the Lagos State Government on Blue Economy, Oluwadamilola Emmanuel, spoke on the 410 million euro project's background, vision, and impact.
We're going to be seeing the influx of over 70 hybrid electric ferries to reduce emissions and boost clean mobility. We're going to be upgrading 20 jetties and terminals. We're going to be dredging and channelizing 15 routes for safer and faster transport, capacity development for all stakeholders, and crucially, we're going to be funding the informal sector under the Vessel Industry Transition Program. This is how we build a water-based economy that works for all, from operators to passengers, from private investors to the citizens.
Governor, you mentioned earlier when we discussed how important it is for you to shelter the city and the state from any shock that might affect it in the years and decades to come. What is one of the largest shocks that is going to affect all of us, all of the coastal cities and regions in our countries in the century to come? It is the rising sea level. This infrastructure has been designed in order to absorb 80 centimeters of rising sea level at the horizon of the century, which means that this transportation network will sustain this rising sea level and protect the city from the consequences of climate change.
US President Donald Trump has denounced the International Maritime Organization's proposed net zero framework as a global green new scam tax on shipping, warning that the United States will retaliate economically against any country that supports the measure when it goes to vote in London. He urged IMO member states to vote against the plan, arguing that it will damage American consumers and global supply chains. The net zero framework seeks to introduce a carbon pricing regime for international shipping, combining stricter marine fuel intensity standards with a levy on carbon emissions. Funds generated will be channeled into an IMO-managed facility to support low-carbon technologies, infrastructure, and transition assistance across the sector. The administration has also called for reform of the IMO's voting process to require active approval by a majority of member states before any proposal can take effect.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Radar. Lagos, the city of waters, is rediscovering its roots through the Omi Eko project, a bold move by the Lagos State government to transform its waterways into safe, efficient, and sustainable transport corridors. At the heart of this initiative is the Lagos State Waterways Authority, LASWA, the agency leading reforms to make water transport a real alternative to road congestion. LASWA is expanding jetties, improving ferry terminals, enforcing safety regulations, and introducing modern ferries powered by cleaner energy. But its true success lies in meeting international standards. That's where the International Maritime Organization, IMO, comes in. The IMO sets global rules for safety, security, and environmental protection on water. For Lagos, aligning the Omi Eko project with International Maritime Organization standards will mean training boat operators to follow safe codes, enforcing the use of life jackets and ferry registration, adopting cleaner fuels, and reducing emissions in line with global decarbonization goals, establishing search and rescue system plus accident reporting procedures. When these standards are upheld, Lagos waterways won't just move people, they'll save lives, protect the environment, and power the city's blue economy. Oluwadamilola Emmanuel, General Manager, Lagos State Waterways Authority, LASWA, and Alexandre Lorot, AFD Representative and Project Manager for Transport, sits with me on the show to unpack how this initiative will ease movement, stimulate economic growth, boost tourism, create employment, and protect a smart, green, and more integrated transport system, embracing a future that flows with the world's best maritime practices. This and many more after this short break. Please stay with us. It's good to have you both join us on the show. So let's start this conversation looking at the impact of water transportation in a city like Lagos, and the strategy that has been deployed to ensure a sustainable, eco-friendly water transportation that will reduce carbon emissions and address traffic congestion.
Well, the state government has actively pursued the alternative modes of transportation in Lagos. Apart from road transportation, we've seen the current government actively invest both in rail transportation and water transportation, because the whole idea is to have an integrated transportation system in Lagos. We've seen a significant boost in infrastructure in terms of the jetties upgrade, channelization, and even production of local boats which meet international standards, which we call the Omnibus series. But of course, moving on from the Omnibus series, there are other several initiatives being planned by the state government, but we're seeing that significant boost within the transport sector.
Okay, what is the new, in line with IMO, as you mentioned, the new kind of buses? Because now we are moving away from the kind of normal buses we have, ferries we have, to electric buses and all that.
Yeah.
So what is Lagos doing to migrate from what we have now to the next level, which is the electric buses? And how are they collaborating and also looking into private operators who might not be able to afford this kind of buses to be able to meet a greener water system?
Well, looking at that, let's even think about how did we get here, for example. One of the things with the removal of fuel subsidy, obviously would mean that anything that uses petrol, the prices would increase. So apart from the fact that you want to reduce carbon emissions, of which petrol was doing, you have to also think about the effect of what the increase in price which came about as a result of fuel subsidy also caused, which means that you then needed to begin to think about other sources and of being able to power, whether it be buses, whether it be the rail, whether it be the ferries. Two options are: one, electric; second will be CNG. For the waterways and even on the road is to consider the electric option. The road has actually started with a few electric buses here and there to test the models. And on the waterways now, the whole focus is to be able to ensure that we can bring in electric, or what we call hybrid electric ferries onto the waterway. And the whole idea is that if government actually gets these ferries, is for the private operators to be the ones to run them. And it's basically like it's a rent to operate. Okay. So they get it from the government and they operate on behalf of government. But of course, they're making their money back. Okay. But the maintenance, and it's still a government asset.
Oh, okay, so who handles the maintenance? Do they pay upfront?
So the maintenance is part of the ticketing structure. So
okay.
From each of from every ticket, there's a percentage that will go towards maintenance.
Okay, so what infrastructure is being put in place to support this operation and maintenance of these new ferries you're talking about? Are there considerations for climate resilient infrastructure in the construction of jetties, in the construction of terminals and related facilities? Are you also looking beyond government facilities to these private operators facilities? Because when you go to some of these jetties, do they have the infrastructure to take in this kind of ferries you're talking about?
Well, the good thing about it is that I guess most of these jetties and terminals had adequate space for us to be able to, would say, adapt them to what we need now. Because what you definitely need is charging stations when you think about electric, and there's space to be able to establish those charging stations. So the good thing, we have the enabling environment, which is the already established infrastructure. We then also need to find the right partner who would come and be able to set up the charging infrastructure at all of the strategic jetties where we'll be charging these electric ferries. So yes, there is the provision because the space is already there. It's not as if we're now looking for the space. And the whole idea is to also call some expansion for some of the terminals, so then we can accommodate that in those terminals.
Okay, Alexandre, I understand you're partnering with this project. So what infrastructure have you seen in ground, and what is the new thing you are bringing on board, looking at what is on ground and what is needed to be able to ensure a smooth operation and navigating from what we have to this next phase?
Okay. First, thanks a lot for having me today. It's a great honor, obviously, to be able to testify about the great collaboration we have between France, the French Development Agency, and Lagos State and LASWA. I've been on the ground, obviously. Our role is basically to drive some impact for the local population while fighting climate change, right? So it obviously goes through having field visits, and we did a lot, few of them with GM LASWA. What I've been the witness of was the current infrastructure that will need to be upgraded in order to support this kind of mass urban transportation system, which is going to be hybrid and electric. So for that, you need first to have an electrical infrastructure that will be financed by the EU component of the financial package we are bringing in, as well as an adaptation to the climate change consequences we'll have in the lagoon. So for instance, by design, all the infrastructure will be resilient towards the rising of the level of the sea, for instance.
Okay, so looking at partnership, which is where you come in, and funding. So who are the key partners behind this initiative, and how is LASWA ensuring transparency and accountability of these funds for a smooth execution?
Okay. So a bit of backstory here. Currently between France and Nigeria, Europe and Nigeria, we are in a strong and even developing bilateral relationship, right? In this idea, AFDs might be understood as a toolbox, with tools that might support the sustainable development of Lagos states. We are using this toolbox with concessional loans, expertise from local expertise and expertise coming from out of the country. We do it since 12 years now with Lamata in order to implement the Lagos State Transport Master Plan.
Okay.
So that's for land transportation, and now we are opening a new chapter together with LASWA for the inland waterways.
Okay.
And so to do that, basically, you will have a blended, what we call blended finance between concessional loans from France, AFD, from the European Investment Bank, and as well as a grant coming from the EU delegation.
Okay, so looking at those that will be using these ferries,
Yes.
which is Lagosians, what is the passenger target? And how will LASWA ensure that the ferry services remain affordable and accessible to the public while maintaining good operational efficiency and long-time viability?
Well, right now we're doing roughly almost 70,000 to 100,000 averagely.
Daily or weekly?
Daily. The whole idea is to ensure that we can basically get to 5 times that number. And there's nothing stopping us from getting 5 times that number, because the amount of ferries that are coming in, not only are they a lot more, but they're also going to move a lot more people en masse at a time. If you think about what we're doing now, averagely it's maybe 20 passengers to 30 passengers. With the new plan, the average will be looking at almost over 100 at a time. And if you're moving 100 at a time on scheduled service, on the kind of ferries where anyone will enter anywhere in the world, come on, it's going to obviously give a lot more people the confidence and also be able to encourage them to be able to use more of this ferries.
Okay, we'll be looking at IMO's global decarbonization strategy, but that will be after the short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Read, and I still have with me Oluwadamilola Emmanuel and also Alexandre Lorot. Before we went on that break, I said we'll be looking at how the Omi Eko initiative aligns with the IMO's global decarbonization strategy for reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah. So, I mean, the decarbonization strategy obviously is looking at reducing greenhouse gas emissions, which is obviously thinking about energy efficient ferries. And that is why for us, energy efficient ferries, electric or hybrid electric. And that's exactly what is going to be procured in the bucket of this actual investment which is coming to the waterways as well. So not only will we have that energy efficient ferries. We also have energy efficient terminals as well, which speaks to the fact that we're going to generally be reducing greenhouse gas emissions for the entire environment and of course for all the passengers who will be using them as well.
So Alexandre, what do you think about? Do you think it aligns with IMO standards?
On our side, it's mandatory to be aligned with a climate-friendly agenda. All our financing are basically tied with the fight against climate change.
So
that is for granted.
So that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. And anything which is preventing from this fight wouldn't be eligible for such a financing. And that's exactly what we did with LASWA starting a few years ago, with answering to this question on a technical and economical perspective through some long-standing feasibility studies.
Okay.
Well, we got all these answers on how to implement such a climate-friendly projects.
Okay, so you know, listening to this, passengers will want to know what is the timeline for full operation of these electric ferries. Any plans to extend this to our coastal communities where it's majorly their only mode of transportation?
Well, it's 15 major routes, 15 routes, 5 major routes, 10 are feeder routes, and those feeder routes definitely touch the coastal communities. Okay. So it's going to cut across the entire divide of Lagos, 140 kilometer of the entire water, which is about 70% of the entire inland waterways, will be channelized and dredged. So it's definitely going to reach and touch those areas, most definitely. The timeline is a 6-year project, but of course we have phases of which we tend to launch phase by phase to ensure that, of course, we can, have the necessary impact we need to have as soon as possible.
So when is the first phase?
And we hope to be able to do something in 2027, early 2027, or maybe about early 2027.
Okay, tourism is a critical part of blue economy. Now you're a special advisor on blue economy, so we will be expecting so much from you. So what's the plan to tap into this potential? Lagos is beautiful. 22% of water, right? Yeah. So tourism should thrive. So why are we not doing a lot about that?
Well, I think we're already doing it. It's just that, are we capturing what we're doing? Because we think about how many people are moving in terms of tourism in Lagos, you'll be amazed at how much. I mean, just about over a week ago, we saw the Formula One boat race on the inland waterways. I mean, that significantly has boosted tourism and has put Lagos on the global map of what can be possible. So tourism had always been happening. You have a lot of people who visit the beaches, who constantly go by the waterways to the beaches. So it's already thriving. However, can it be ramped up? Can there be more that should be done? Most definitely more can be done. Thank God we have a government which is quite focused on diversifying our sources of revenue, right from just strictly oil and gas to looking at agriculture, looking at tourism, looking at other areas we can develop. So I think even from that federal level, coming down to a state level, and even local government level, we've seen with what has happened with the local government independency is now making them a bit more innovative, and we're going to see a lot more. I believe that now is the time where we're seeing a lot more, which obviously even this race, like I spoke about, happened in Lagos, has shown that there's a lot more that's going to be tapped from the tourism area.
Okay. Also looking at IMO standards. Yes. So it means a lot has to be done with sensitization, with training boat operators. A lot has to be put in place. So how are you incorporating this into your strategy to ensure a good operations of these electric ferries?
Yeah, there's something in the whole package we call the Vessel Industry Transition Program, and that's to ensure that we don't leave the current operators out of it. Okay. You know, they have the local expertise, they have the skills that are necessary. However, we want that to meet international standards, right? So you have the international standards on one angle, you also have the local content on one angle. Is how you allow them to have that handshake. So this vessel industry program will be looking at how to incorporate the existing local content we have to ensure that they can meet up, with the standards which we want to. And of course, this will include education, it will include training, it will include sensitization, it will include all kinds of stakeholder engagement as well to ensure that we have a successful project.
Then also even let me maybe speaking in Yoruba.
Absolutely, multilingual language. Yes. And of course, and our partners are very big on ensuring that no one is left out. It's not a program for the rich. It's not ferries for the rich. In fact, it's ferries for everybody. Lagosians should be able to access them at whatever cadre they are in the society.
Okay, maintenance and sustainability is key. What's been done to achieve this? You know, it's not just by getting them, but to be sustainable, there's need for maintenance and all that. So, what are you doing as a partner to be able to ensure this balance?
Of course. So first we have co-built the solution with LASWA.
Okay.
I mean us as a donor, let's say, with the consultants that has been procured for the feasibility study and LASWA. We have basically created a holistic approach for this project. It's not about infrastructure only. It's not only about jetties, pontoons, boats. It's a long-standing transformative project, and this has been designed. By this design, the component of maintenance has been included, and part of the contract that's going to be procured will include this maintenance and to ensure basically the long-standing of this Omi Eko project.
So as a partner, you are happy, you are fulfilled about how the project is going, right?
Well, on Friday actually will be the public launch of Omi Eko. I can't be more than happy knowing to celebrate this new chapter in our relationship. Imagine, on the French side, we'll have the French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs coming from Paris directly, and the Lagosian side will have Mr. Governor and many dignitaries from Lagos State. So it's a kind of an amazing celebration that we will have ahead. Now that the public launch once the public launch is done, it's going to be the start for the actual implementation of the project.
Okay, I must congratulate you for this big one, using Alexandre's word. I'm also proud of this new phase of water transportation, especially when it has to align with IMO standards. It's been Oluwadamilola Emmanuel. He is the General Manager, Lagos State Waterways Authority, LASWA. He's also the Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Blue Economy. Congratulations on your appointment. Also, Alexandre Lorot, AFD Representative and Project Manager for Transport. Thank you, gentlemen, for being my guests on the show. That's been Maritime Radar. Thank you. And that's our show this week. I hope that this episode has been able to bring to fore the future of transport in Lagos. With its bustling network of natural waterways, Lagos is now reclaiming its aquatic strength through the Omi Eko, championed by the Lagos State Waterways Authority, LASWA. Join us every week on Maritime Radar as we explore how Africa can harness the latent potential of its blue economy. You can also expect the latest in global and local maritime news, plus industry insights right here. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Many thanks for your time, and see you again next week.